We've got some breaking news as Royce O'Neale is coming back to the Phoenix Suns. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. The Suns and Royce O'Neale got that contract extension signed, and James Jones and Matt Ishbia are building that contender. We're going to be diving in and looking at what this means for the Suns, especially with free agency starting in a couple days as well. All of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I'm Bruce Velez. Before we dive in, though, before we get into all of this news, 78% of you guys who watch our videos are not subscribed, and we do appreciate that number dwindling. If you want to make sure you stay up to date on everything revolving around the Suns team as fast as this, make sure to hit that subscribe button, as we would really appreciate it over here on Suns Digest. We are less than 100 subscribers away from 1,000, our goal. But without further ado, let's dive into the video in hand. Make sure to grab a snack. And like I mentioned, Royce O'Neale is back, ladies and gentlemen. He will be returning to the Phoenix Suns once again this offseason, and I think that this is a brilliant move by the front office. You gave up 5 veteran minimum guys to get Royce O'Neale at the deadline, and Royce O'Neale was one of the guys looking back last season that I was like, hey, maybe this is one of those 3-and-D wings you could go out to help Kevin Durant. You already played with him in Brooklyn. I really liked him. I liked DFS, and they ultimately went out and got, which I think is the better 3-and-D one, in Royce O'Neale. Now, if obviously we want to dive in and look at this, we can see from Adrian Wojnarowski, he broke the news that free agent Royce O'Neale plans to sign a 4-year, $44 million deal to return back to the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, that means that Royce O'Neale is making around $11 million a year for this Phoenix Suns squad, which we can look at when looking at the obviously salary cap. Now, we've brought this up in plenty of videos, so if you are a recent subscriber and you have been paying attention, you have seen this before, but this is the old spiel where obviously the Suns are strapped to the second apron, and obviously bringing in Royce O'Neale obviously will heavily affect their salary cap, but not really that much. Obviously, only increasing his salary cap by $2 more million is key for this Suns team, and Royce O'Neale is also ecstatic to be back with this squad, as he posted on Instagram after getting back. God is good, which goes to show you just how much Royce O'Neale actually values and wants to be with this Suns team, as they can be a true contender in this Western Conference with him being added. When looking at this from Zach Lowe as well, we can see on furthermore the deal that the deal has no options, team or player, and is fully guaranteed all the way through. So Royce O'Neale will be getting that $44 million regardless, no team option, no player option at the end of that contract. Ultimately, if the Suns do like the fit with Royce O'Neale and what he brings to the squad, they can keep him. But ultimately, in a year or two, if they decide to change directions or he's just not the right guy for what the Suns need, they do have a nice tradable contract in Royce O'Neale at around $11 million, who can provide some great things to help out some contenders. Can also be a valuable defender, also a very great knockdown shooter, and a guy who I think is a key piece for this Suns team in additions. If we want to look at Royce O'Neale and kind of see what his stats are for this Suns team, we can see he averaged 7 points last season, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists on 40% shooting from the field and 37% from 3. He's obviously 31, so he's a little bit of a veteran, but he can shoot 44% from corner threes, and that's where we like to see Royce succeed his best, in the corner. Now, I know for a lot of Suns fans, Royce O'Neale might have not been that big splash, that big get that they wanted or hoped for, specifically with his performances in the playoffs, but I truly think him integrating with this team and fully getting a true starting spot with this team for majority of the year, I think he will be a key piece for this Suns squad. When you look at this team now on paper, obviously Booker, Beal, Durant, Nurkic, who's most likely going to be staying now that he hasn't been traded, and obviously Royce O'Neale. That is a very good starting 5 in this NBA. Now, I know it might not be the flashiest, might not be the best defensively, but it can get buckets, especially with Mike Budenholzer as a head coach. And if you can get some defensive maniacs on this veteran buyout market, especially with free agency starting tomorrow, I think that could be key for this Suns squad. So that gets us into our next point here. Kind of what did this mean for the rest of free agency for the Phoenix Suns? Now, obviously, let me know your thoughts down below on Royce O'Neale. But with him coming back and the Suns obviously looking at and drafting guys in Ryan Dunn and Oso Iguodaro, while also looking at some guys in Tyrese Samuel I saw getting on an Exhibit 10 day, this team is going to be, looking to be clogged with some young talent at that forward and wing position. And as CJ and I have been preaching from the rooftops, this team needs a point guard, regardless of it's one that is starting comes off the bench, it needs someone to facilitate this offense, somebody that can finish games, and somebody that is a veteran. We've talked about names the likes of a Chris Paul, the likes of a Kyle Lowry possibly being that veteran to possibly coming in. And some other names have popped up as well. Maybe even a Chris Dunn, maybe even some of those other guys on that veteran market. Markelle Fultz has popped up in the comment section as well if he would love to come over for that minimum. And I think that those could be great things for the Phoenix Suns. Sorry, hit the wrong button there. But as you guys can see, with this roster, with this, whole salary cap situation going on. They do need that point guard. They could still use some help with that rebounding center as well and could be looking in that direction. But also Iguodala is a solid wing as well. We also know with the Phoenix Suns, when looking at this, we have an updated little scale here from Bobby Marks. So the starting five, Beal, Booker, Allen, Durant, Nurkic. Obviously, you can throw in Royce O'Neale as well. With reserves, Damian Lee, Ryan Dunn, Nazir Little, Ryan Dunn, and David Roddy. And then looking at some free agents, we know Eric Gordon most likely opting out. Josh Okogie might come back on his player option. Drew Eubanks declined his player option. He'll most likely be gone. And Bol is someone that they would like to bring back as well. So if they were able to bring back Okogie and Bol, this team would look like Beal, Booker, Allen, Durant, Nurkic, Okogie, Bol, Damian Lee, Nazir Little, Royce O'Neale. That's around your 10 with Ryan Dunn, Damian Lee, and David Roddy being those guys that are possibly at the end. That ultimately gives you two more spots to possibly pursue to kind of fill in those roster holes for a guy in Eric Gordon, for a guy in Drew Eubanks. And I ultimately think that's where we look at the point guard role and the backup center role. I think that those two are key. Getting a facilitator like Paul, like Lowry, like Dunn, scrappy defender who can be a high impact piece, and also looking at the side effect of looking at a key rim protector and shot blocker would also be nice to put alongside Yusuf Nurkic. Maybe that center can finish out some games if Nurkic is in foul trouble or struggling offensively, if that center and can kind of pick up the slack. And I truly think that Andre Drummond could be that center for the Phoenix Suns if they were to look at him. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What are your guys' thoughts of obviously Royce O'Neale coming back? I think it is a key piece that the Suns needed to bring back, and I'm very, very ecstatic that Royce O'Neale will be with this squad for the foreseeable future. Like I mentioned, his contract is 4 years, $11 million, and it does look a little scary now. But if the Suns do look to pivot directions in the future, as we all know, they want to contend right now with this big three. But if it doesn't work this year or in the future, Royce O'Neale's contract is a nice veteran tradable contract, or could still be a nice veteran role player to just have on your squad if you're going through a little bit of a rebuild or retool. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What do you guys think of this signing? If you could grade it on a letter grade, let me know what you guys think down below. Once again, if you guys enjoy the content, enjoy what you guys are seeing here, make sure to hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button. CJ and I would greatly appreciate it. We're less than 100 subscribers away from 1,000, which was our initial goal. You guys have been absolutely fantastic at showing us support in the comment section, letting us know your thoughts. We want to make sure we can provide all that daily content for you guys revolving around this Phoenix Suns team up to date as fast as we can. That's why we try to get this video out ASAP, so try to beat out everybody else. So if you want to make sure you stay up to date on everything around this team as fast as possible, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You don't know how much it means the world to us. Once again, I'm Bruce Veliz. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode here on Suns Digest, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, and go Phoenix Suns.